1. YOLO.
Oh, did you start recording?
No, I just put us on.
Not yet. Let's wait till he's ready to go, and then we can start the recording.
I'm just like, I just wanted to put us in front of the peoples.
Yeah, that way it'll be easier for me if all the recordings are like the same length. So
right. That'd be very easy for you.
Shalom.
Shalom.
What do you?
Two what?
To what? What's
Are you,
up with
I wonder if Cherry is asking 2 guests in a row. And if so, fuck it. I don't care.
The answer is fuck it.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Fuck you, Cherry. I guess.
You mean? What
I don't know. It's what Tim.
Oh. Well, Tim's wrong. Paul said 1, so 2. Oh, okay. Because I said 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Because he was doing a countdown for us. But he lied and hit the button. I need to go get a haircut this week.
I need to shave. I need to go get a haircut too. Like, I just need to get my split ends trimmed.
See, I need to get my hair cut and then rebleached so I can dye it and it'll be all bright pink. Because like it's just the tips now and you like can't see it half the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't wait to move to Florida and then to either dye my hair platinum and just like bleach it all the way out.
Yeah.
Or dye it back to blue. Because honestly, I unironically like the blue.
I really liked I like the pink on my hair. And it looks good, but like my hair is growing too fast.
You and I can be cotton candy. That'd be such a good bit.
I go with vaporwave aesthetic.
All you are is vaporwave, lol.
Actually,
welcome to the flannel cast.
So my
so
the VTuber model that I have commissioned has like a kind of like deep blue eye and a magenta eye, and it's gonna be so good.
Heterochromia is hot.
Heterochromia and silver.
It's a mutation, a very groovy mutation, I might add.
Yeah,
I actually have 2 friends who have that.
I fucking love heterochromia.
Oh no, I have to re-download it. Oh, it's gonna take me a little bit longer.
It's fine. It's fine. I can clean up the audio.
Yeah.
Right. You think so?
Like yeah, no, there's a million tools in Adobe to clean up the audio. Worst case scenario. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Yeah, don't feel bad. Last week I recorded in stereo, but only to left ear. So
yeah. So
yeah,
the only thing.
This past week for me has been nothing but issues editing podcasts. It's been hilarious.
Literally the only thing, Death, is just to make sure you're peaking. Like peaking is like at -12, -6 on Audacity. Like that's it.
All right, let me check on that then.
So just click your monitor and make sure it's...
Because
like my average is about 24, but like if I get loud, I'm at like 12 to 6.
See, I peak at 12. I'm like 18 to 12. And regardless, I normalize the audio anyways.
Yep.
Like it is not a huge deal one way or the other.
Run it through the compressor and then it's like all actually normalized.
And
everything's good. So
yes. I do put in effort sometimes when I'm editing.
Blah. This is my tool in which I will be modeling and doing work this week. My one of my professors was like, I don't want to see any handwritten homework this semester. So it's either MATLAB or like PDFs on tablets. I don't want to see anyone's nasty ass paper in the PDF. So I was like, cool. So I'm literally only ever doing work on my my iPad. Noted. My heat transfer class again is all MATLAB homework. So you know the guy that was gonna pass, it's not gonna be my ass again.
You're like, I was gonna pass. It's not me.
Yeah. I'm gonna fail heat transfer for the 3rd fucking time. I want to commit my life.
Dude, I love math puzzles.
I should be good now.
All right, everybody ready to start recording? Recording. 3, 2, 1, go. All right.
And clap.
Wow,
in 3,
wow.
2, 1, clap.
It's fine.
No delay though.
You'll be able to see
So
the video.
I
It's
forgot that I had broadcast, so it's just my audio is just not gonna have a.
It's
Okay, that's
fine. I can make it work.
We can work on it.
You'll see it and like you know what time it started, so it's fine.
Tim, I told you about the issues that I had on Friday, so like I can handle anything now.
That's true.
Yeah, Kofi can just do everything. He's fine.
He's a perfectly capable human being.
Well, that's a lie. That one right there is not true.
Well, we're here.
One sec. Let me get it out of my system. We're not on Twitch. Simp. Thank you.
Simp. Now I'm better.
Just get it all out of your system now.
That's my favorite joke. Is like, oh, we're not on Twitch.
Yeah, you just go crazy.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, YouTube.
Me and my VTuber simping.
That is all Tim does now. He just like follows Hollow Live exclusively.
Yeah, can we talk about that? 2020 was just the year of VTubers. Not really even the anime, just VTubers. We're just going all in with that.
Right? They just like
Honestly, I thought it was stupid for a very long time. I like never understood the appeal of iChan, and didn't really get Hololive. And then I don't know, it must have been some stupid compilation of clips that I was like, wow, I adore Coco. She's fucking hilarious.
You're a huge fan.
And now I'm a VTuber simp. It's over. Like I actually just I'm a shrimp now. I have actually joined Kura's membership. It's over. I can no longer say that I'm a free-to-play simp. I actually did it.
I'm a passive Hololive consumer.
Okay.
So I know a good chunk about all of them. I consume clips and shit that I see posted everywhere, but I don't watch streams or anything.
I watch a lot of Gura's streams. Not always live, but just
continue talking about that for a minute.
Like on the rebroadcast. So it's like, oh, okay. So now it's like, oh, it's a 4-hour video. I can like I can code and like watch it like passively.
Uh-huh.
I like watching fucking shitpost review with Coco and whatever Hololive guest she has on that week, because her explaining some of the memes to the Japanese VTubers is hilarious.
I could only imagine how funny that would be.
It's actually like highly recommend going and watching some of the clips from it, from like the one with Sora, because Sora was like their traditional idol, and Coco talked her into saying motherfucker.
Oh,
and
my God.
Honestly, I've never wanted something so bad in my life.
I could see that. I really could see
Oh Lord. Well, so this week is fun. We got a guest, if you hadn't noticed. This is Dylan.
This is my favorite thing. He was our first guest.
This is true.
Yes.
He was
From the
technically our
last
very
episode.
appearance. This is his third appearance.
We're going.
He is now tied with Slap for number of appearances on the podcast.
We are competing now.
Publicly only second, but this is his third appearance.
Yep.
Because that. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that episode. That
we don't
episode's
talk
lost
about the
time.
lost episodes.
It was a great pilot. It was a great pilot. Kevin loved it, but it's lost forever to the internet.
Yeah.
You know what?
Great
No. How
pilot.
about this? For the 1-year anniversary, it will go up on Patreon for 48 hours only.
The lost episode.
June 30th. June 30th.
I'm honestly
2021.
Okay with this.
That lost episode. The first one will never appear anywhere.
The first one's never allowed to see the light of day.
No. But Senku-san is allowed to show up.
The Senko-san episode will appear on the Patreon on June 30th,
Fluffing.
2021.
Oh.
We've told so many stories of Paul yelling about fluffing for like 15 minutes.
Dude.
It was great.
It was a really good
bit.
episode.
It was a great
It was
bit.
content. We don't have the video for it,
No, we
so
don't.
I can't
It'll
make
be
a clip from it. But oh man,
Does
I
Death
remember.
also have a series?
Uh,
Mm. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll have to see.
We'll see.
Death of a Weeb is just such a good title. I worked so hard on that. Like,
So we're just gonna make it. No. We just have to make it Panic at the Disco titles now.
Yeah, so when Death is on, it's Panic at the Disco. When Slap is on, it's Star Wars.
There we go.
Easy.
I'm down with that.
We need to start getting new guests and new memes to throw them at.
We'll bring Rec back.
Yes. I would like Rec's second episode to be The Reckoning, or like Studio Blank.
Reckoning Hour.
No.
No. I was thinking of like I was making a pun on like Divinity Original Sin 2.
Oh, okay.
Reckoning. Reckoning of Amalur.
I was making a joke about the D&D campaign.
Wait a minute.
Making a joke about our D&D campaign. It's fine.
I know, but I was like, I'm gonna workshop that one, and when it's ready, it's gonna be spice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right,
So, are we ready? Did we just go?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Fucking send it.
Okay. Welcome to Studio Blank, the anime and manga podcast where you can find all your news, views, and reviews on all things Weeb every single week. I'm your host, I Love Mondays, with Nate and Tim, and a special guest from ye ages ago, Dylan.
How are you doing?
Otherwise known as Death. So we'll figure out what we're calling him today, because it just depends on what's going on.
I'll call him whatever I goddamn please.
There you go. See, that's the attitude I like.
Alrighty.
You can call me whatever you want as long as you don't call me late for dinner.
Tim, there's a lot of news apparently, and apparently you have to beat the dead horse yet again. So just get it out of the way. Just get it out of the way.
Okay, this is a positive though. We got the English dub trailer for the Demon Slayer movie today.
I did see this.
So that's kind of PogChamp.
There we go.
It still didn't have a goddamn date in it, but at least we're getting closer and closer to real information about when it's actually screening. So like that's good enough for me, you know?
I hope they do a screening that is also tied to like a Blu-ray, or at least this like an actual like streaming date instead of all just theaters. Because we all know the United States is exploding. Anyway.
Yeah. And actually, you know what? Just to continue beating the horse for like one more second.
Okay.
For 12 consecutive weeks, it was number 1. This is its first week at number 2.
Oh no!
Since release.
It's losing. It's losing track.
Number 2, just like barely.
But
though,
you know what? I don't have the exact numbers for which one was number 1 this week. It's not in the article, but it still made $6.5 million at number 2. So I think that's pretty good. Those are pretty good numbers. It has grossed 335 million US in 13 weeks. I feel like
that's pretty good. Yeah,
that's solid.
That's way more than their budget was going into it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, like that movie did so well. It's not even funny. Like the whole rest of the series could be funded purely on its gross in Japan, let alone any money it makes anywhere else.
Yeah,
right.
I'm stoked to just see it in general.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I've heard nothing but absolutely amazing things about it. You know, if you love,
have you read the manga?
Yeah, I finished it. I have all of it.
Okay, cool.
So I'm just the only person here that doesn't know what happens.
Correct.
To it.
I'm illiterate. I can't read.
Okay. Next up, if you loved Mashima's Fairy Tail, you'll probably love Eden Zero, because it's literally just a fairy tale rehash, and it's great. Honestly, I read the manga so far, and it feels like Fairy Tail, and while Fairy Tail is pretty fucking mid,
it's nostalgic.
Generous.
It just hits. It hits in a special way, and it's good. You know,
calling Fairy Tail mid. That was like the first long-term anime that I watched all the way through. How dare you call it mid? That is at least bottom tier.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone I know that watches Fairy Tail or has watched Fairy Tail consistently calls it their guilty pleasure anime.
Exactly. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's like it's not like it's like a top 10 anime by any means.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things that you're like, you've already been so invested in all of these little moments for forever that you're just like,
listen, Carla turned into a cat girl, okay? Like,
yeah. But
that show.
The anime premieres on April 10th, and I know I'm going to watch it as my guilty pleasure anime. And just I'm kind of excited about that.
Hey, if you accept guilty pleasure, it's all good. We just have to be on the same page.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Admitting that it's my guilty pleasure is not a bad thing.
I think the other thing about it is like, I don't know if they're gonna do it. I really hope they don't, just because I don't need this in my life. But they need to not Fate this, and just perpetually make it more and more and spin-offs and alternate universes. And I don't need the Fate web for Fairy Tail. Please, for the love of God, don't give me the Fate web for Fairy Tail. That's all.
You're underselling the Fate. It's like the Fate games, the Fate mobile games, the Fate movies, the Fate anime. Oh, it's just everywhere. It's too much.
Dude, hey, I can explain Fate to anybody. It's super simple. Fate is a show about the war for the Holy Grail that is about the summoning of 7 servants, sometimes less than, sometimes more than, to 7 masters, sometimes less than, sometimes more than, and always results in the Holy Grail being grabbed, sometimes not. Like, that's just how it works. It's the perfect
show. And the
show.
rules unilaterally and universally apply, except when they
always,
don't.
Always.
Yeah,
okay. So back to the news.
Yes.
My Hero, Demon Slayer, and AOT were on New York Times bestseller list for January, which is pretty fucking sick. So MHA took 3rd and 5th with its 1st and 2nd volumes. The 1st volume of Demon Slayer was ranked at 7, and AOT was 14th for its 1st volume. So, like, I'm glad to see that even in the US, manga is becoming more and more, like, available, and it's doing very well.
I think I have my Attack on Titan manga somewhere here.
This was cool JoJo's news.
Yes.
The Rohan OVAs launch on February 18th.
Yes.
We like that date.
Yes. And you know what the big fucking word in this announcement is? Worldwide. We're not getting some split Netflix release in Japan and 6 months later getting it here. We're getting it at the same time. And that makes me a very happy boy.
It's very crazy that at that point that we're doing that now. It's like actually, it's not separate anymore. It's actually amazing.
Well, there's still like there's some shows that are like airing this season.
Yeah.
That, like Netflix has the what show is airing this season that Netflix has the rights to?
Oh, I'm blanking on it.
We were talking about it in my Discord a little while ago. Someone was asking.
No, we got season 2 of Beastars last year. I don't remember.
There is another season of Beastars airing right now.
There is. I don't know what it is. I can't come up with it.
There was something. It was something that somebody was trying to watch. It was like, oh, Netflix.
7 Deadly Sins.
Yes, it was 7 Deadly Sins.
Oh. I thought you said new, and I was like, it's...
No, this is the new season of 7 Deadly Sins is currently airing in Japan on Netflix.
Yes, and it's a 7 Deadly Trash Fire.
That's actually underselling it, I think, just a little bit.
I mean,
I
like,
didn't finish season 2, so.
Like I said, Domestic Girlfriend was like dumpster fire, but like, yeah, but that was better.
Oh man, but Death, have you heard about Scum's Wish?
Yeah, I watched it. Sad.
Oh no.
Okay, so
we'll leave that there.
Already, Cells at Work Code Black,
I was
ends
waiting.
on January 21st. Which the first episode of was fucking fantastic. I watched it on Funny this week, and oh god, that's gonna entertain the shit out of me this season.
I haven't started it yet, but it's like it's on my queue, and I need to watch it.
Yeah, if you
highly recommend.
If you like Dr. Stone, I also like. This is like the same vein in my opinion. It's very good.
See, I love the concepts and stuff of Dr. Stone. I just hate all the characters.
I think
like
the problem
I can't watch it. I just fucking hate the characters.
Dr. Stone has this problem where like the first 2 seasons worth of anime content are like such a slog to get through. Yeah. But like once you get past Stone Wars, it's just good. Like the rest of it tops, bro. I've been loving the manga.
I'm excited. After Stone Wars is finished, I'm gonna read, so we'll see how good it gets. But
Tim, do we have any more news?
We do in fact have more news. Funimation revealed additions to the AOT dubcast, and I only brought this up because not a single one of them was Nick Cage, and I'm already disappointed.
Damn it! We had an entire discussion about how we needed Nicolas Cage.
We
Yep,
need,
didn't get Nick Cage.
Was
Angry.
Christopher Walken at least on it?
No, that was the
Damn
thing.
it.
Is there was no Christopher Walken, no Nicolas Cage. The dub is ruined. It's over.
Don't even watch the sub. It's fine now.
honestly,
This
sub's
is the
pretty
news
solid.
that has me the most excited.
All right, let's get ready.
I'm going to read the article title, and
Okay.
we're just gonna let that one sit for a second. ReZero creator and scriptwriter pen Wit Studios April TV anime VV Fluorite Eyes song. It's an anime original, and we're letting to pay Nagatsuki write it. It's either going to be amazing or trash.
Dude, I can't wait for the new like protagonist. What's he gonna be? Is he gonna be named Kia or Nissan?
No, her name is Vivi. And
Yes, of course.
But
Mitsubishi.
this is the tagline for it. The story of how I, Vivi, will destroy my AI self. And the art for it looks fucking sick. I'm just gonna copy and paste it and put it in the guest house chat for you guys so that you guys can see it.
I would like to see this.
Already interested?
Yeah. And she's a blue-haired protag, Nate, so it's already
Oh
good.
God, you already know my. Oh my God.
This is pretty good.
Ooh, this artwork looks really nice.
If you just want to pull that onto stream really quickly,
That'd be it.
There's not an easy way for him to do that without completely ruining the setup.
I know I'm fucking with you.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, it looks really good.
If you'd notice too, like she's like split too. Like her
Yeah.
clothes are like pseudo black on the left and all white on the right. Really interesting already.
Yeah. And so it's Teppei Nagatsuki and IG Umahara, who's the ReZero episode scriptwriter. And they created the story and wrote the scripts for it. So I don't know. I feel like this and Wit Studios doing it, so it'll probably be pretty chefs.
Wit's pretty
Wit
good.
is consistently pretty good.
I mean, Wit is also Vinland Saga, so I'm
Exactly.
like.
That's what I'm saying.
We
Like,
just
I'm
we
excited.
just caught through like two of the best fights in Vinland Saga, so I'm not surprised like in any means.
All right.
So, okay. Do you want to start with the anime awards?
Wait, Tim,
Yes.
is there one more thing?
Oh yes, and there's one more thing.
I just want to talk about it. I
Yes.
just want to talk about it so bad.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
There we go.
So, there's a show, and it's coming back in July, and it rhymes with Bis Yobayashi's Dragon Tade. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid comes back in July, guys.
We have a date. We have a season. I'm so excited. Death, did you ever watch Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid? Oh,
I haven't.
yeah. Paul hasn't. He like. I feel like I should just show him the Kana Kobayashi fight. Like.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
that's-
should.
that's
That
telling.
that fight's actually pog as fuck.
And then he'd probably be interested just seeing that. But oh my god, that is like one of my favorite shows, and I cannot wait for it to come back.
Yeah, I'm
Just
stoked for
the
that to be back.
wholesomeness,
So
the happiness.
Is it gonna be another Tony Kawa for me or?
it will
Not quite.
probably be more. It's like Tanakawa, but like turned down and more funny. It's gonna be more like Kaguya-sama. in my
It's
opinion.
more comedy, less wholesome, but it's still wholesome as fuck.
Yeah.
They have the right balance.
Yeah, they have
it's
a
a,
really good
it's a
balance.
proper balance. Whereas like Tanakawa is like mostly serotonin with less laughs, and like Kaguya-sama is like a good
Can we talk
balance of
that
serotonin
shows,
and,
that
and
shows
laughs.
best that shows best laughs were when it was when like they were inside the house and the house did the house shake thing, like best laughs in the entire show. Every time that happened,
Yeah,
10 out of 10 laughs. So
exactly. So like that's the kind of stuff we're looking
okay,
forward
cool,
to.
cool.
That's
Um,
all of the news. That Nate, thank you for reminding me about that.
I
I saw
see
that
you talking
article,
about it.
did not grab it because you had DM'd me about it, and then
Yep.
completely forgot.
All right, but hey, do you guys know what's going on this week in anime?
It's the Anime Awards.
It is in fact the Anime Awards.
That's right. Crunchyroll Anime Awards are currently live, which means we can talk about all of the stuff and all of the shows that don't deserve to be on the list.
and shows that should be on the list.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I need
So-
to pull up 2 tabs for this. I need to analyze.
Yeah, I can. I was gonna drop the link in guest house for the sake of simplicity.
Okay.
But there's a lot on the list. There's a lot going on, and oh man, there's a.
Okay, so let's just kick it off with the beginning with anime of the year.
Yep.
Tim, hit me with it, and let's go.
Alrighty, and your nominees are Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken, Jujutsu Kaisen, Great Pretender, Adoro Hidoro, Appare Ranman, and Beastars. And honestly, we discussed this last week with Slap, and I'm still not set on Appare Ranman. I watched through it this week, and still don't know why it made the list.
I can't really see Great Pretender either.
Oh my god, Great Pretender is so good.
But the
That's a
ending-
hot take.
The ending.
What?
It's a
What do you mean the ending?
Okay, I don't want to spoil it, but like it was. The ending was way too weird and just destroyed my suspension of disbelief. It was way too weird. I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
The whole show is fucking weird.
But it actually made sense at the start of it, in the middle, and the end. It just made no sense.
I disagree. Great Pretender is actually my vote for anime of the year off of this list.
Really.
Yes, I loved it.
I am a solid JJK fan here.
All right,
I've heard a lot of really, really good things about Beastars. The animation style rubs me
I can
The
understand.
wrong way.
That's fair.
I have to give credit to this anime because it has really good the animation style is different and it actually they do it really well, and most anime don't do it, and has a great story. So I have to like give it that praise.
Right.
So other
I've
can get
heard
better.
nothing but incredible things about the story.
Yeah, the story's amazing.
I might have to check it out at some point.
Yeah, it's like for me, it's if you turn off your brain a little bit and stop trying to critique like the animation, the story is so worth that.
You know what?
I
That does
can't
kind of
help but
remind me
enjoy
of
it.
this week's episode of Attack on Titan.
Yeah, again, like if you actively ignore the 3D CG, which I know is hard, and you just focus on the story content, you're gonna really enjoy Beastars. The same thing with this week's episode of AOT. Like, I don't know. I think some of the 3D CG in this week's episode of Attack on Titan was it wasn't necessarily necessary, but it was just worth, you know?
Yeah.
There was a lot that I said this somewhere else, but they've definitely put more effort into blending the 3D than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it good, but it makes it better.
Yes.
Right. Like
So-
imagine with the straight, CG. Oh, that would be. Ugh.
Yeah,
I just
watching
out
like,
of this list. I'm
the
just like,
Warhammer Titan doing the Warhammer Titan things, like that looked really sick. I was really happy with that.
I like that they had the bend and the hammer and everything, like really showing the weight of it.
so here's the
like-
thing that I want to point out about that before we go too much further is like,
Mhm.
I think the moment you decided that some of this stuff that you wanted to do had to be done in 3D, they had to make the other Titans that would be involved in those scenes 3D as well, even if they didn't necessarily want to.
It would be too
And that-
jarring otherwise.
Exactly, and that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking about. Is I was like, they probably didn't need to do the Attack Titan as like 3D CG, but like the moment you see the Warhammer Titan do its shit, you're like it kind of has to be. If it isn't,
It wouldn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
upsetting.
and the Jaw Titan being 3D, like the amount of movement that allows them
Yep.
is a very important thing. Like, so I can
Yeah.
understand the Jaw Titan being 3D, and the same thing with the Beast Titan. Like, I don't love the Beast Titan in 3D CG, but it does give them a lot of flexibility with how they can animate him and how they can make him move.
Yep.
So,
because it looks like a
Well-
real baseball throw when he's doing it. Like you watch that and you're like, yep, that looks like about how it should move, and then you're
it
like,
looks like it was
"Oh."
mocapped.
And you're like, oh, that's and then you hit like that one frame that just doesn't look good, and you're like, ooh, but you're like, I
And he
like
gets
it, but ooh.
Mhm.
So no, I totally get that. That's why I don't mind Beastars.
And that's fair.
You know,
So that covers anime of the year. There's a lot of really good shows up there, a lot of heavy hitters. It's gonna be close. I think Jujutsu Kaisen might come out on top just because of the current hype levels that it has.
I mean, that's how best animation wins every year anyway. So like I wouldn't.
It is a lot of popularity, but you need to remember there are also judges that Crunchyroll has chosen that have watched all of these and made their specific choices as well.
That's also how the nominations come about. So it's like I can understand that for someone that watched all 6 of those shows, that Appare Ranman was their #1 pick for the year.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yep.
Like if there was like a validation to the nomination, if there was a video like explaining why XYZ judge, who doesn't have to be named, picked it, I'd be like, okay, I can get behind it. I just need to like hear the validation, you know?
Of course.
Yep.
All right. Well, so let's hop off of anime of the year and let's roll on to our next category, which is best protagonist.
Alrighty. And your nominees for best pro tag are Natsume from Decadence, Katarina Claes from My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, Yuji Itadori from the aforementioned Jujutsu Kaisen, Anos Voldegode from The Misfit of Demon King Academy, Midori Asakasa from Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken, and Shoyo Hinata from
say it
Haikyuu.
the other way, please. Good lord. Hinata
Shoyo!
Shoyo! That's how they say it. You gotta do it.
They needed the hype levels.
If you say his name any other way, like it just kind of falls flat. Like it's like it was written to be screamed from the top of the world.
That's the whole. That was why the character was named what he was.
Yes,
that was the whole point.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. I think, and I said this last week, and I'll say it again. I am happy with whoever wins this category. In all 6 of these shows, I love the pro tag more than any other character, and it's not even like a hard pick. Like, I have voted, or I'm going to vote, I should say, for everyone once, and then I'm not going to vote a 7th time because I can't pick one that I absolutely love more than the rest. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yep, I understand this. I just happen to be a Hinata stan.
He's an Ano simp.
I'm a Hinata stan and an Ano simp, basically. And like Itadori is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Like Itadori is a character.
I love Itadori.
And Tim can, vouch for me on this one. If we were taking the entirety of Itadori into account, like what's gone on in the manga and current and forward, I'd be like slapping that button so hard. But what we've got of him at the moment doesn't rival what we've gotten of both Hinata, Anos, even Natsume and Katarina. Like they're just like it may just be to like do the breadth of work is what I'm getting at. But like the range of emotions, like the ridiculous moments that we have with everybody else kind of just outshines Itadori at the moment, So I love it. I just, I think everybody else also has more character progression at some level,
Absolutely.
So.
I think the pacing of the first half of Jujutsu kind of inhibited where he was he could have been at, but I think the pacing made the show like the pacing was more important than the character growth that that you would have seen with Yuji. Yep. And so it's like do we care more about our character growing and getting bitching about complaints, or do we care more about like taking the time to like make the pacing right and just kind of putting Itadori's character growth on the back burner.
Yep.
And I agree with their choice.
I'm going to make the point. It's the proper choice compared to what we saw with God of High School earlier in the year.
I can agree with that.
Like,
it's the reason why none of the God of High School characters are on this list.
Yes.
Yep, that enough said. So
but, yeah, like that lots of really good protagonists there. And like I want to keep talking like super in depth, but we do need to roll through because there's a lot of categories we got to talk about.
This is gonna be a long episode, guys.
By that I mean we're going to this is the voting speed running. So next up is best antagonist. Tim, you want to read that out for me?
This is just such a good list.
Your nominees are N from Dorohedoro, Ryomen Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen, Bitch from Tower of God, Akito Soma from Fruits Basket Season 2, Echidna from ReZero, and Little Bitch from Season 4 of My Hero Academia.
Be Rachel from Tower of God and Overhaul from My Hero Academia, respectively, are bitch and little bitch. I made my argument earlier with these two. I don't think Rachel deserves to be on this list as much as I love Tower of God. Mostly because she's not even really the antagonist of the show. She's the second protagonist.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Tower of God is as much.
And if you took Tower of God like the Hell Train arc and asked if Rachel was a good antagonist, I'd say yes. But like this, like I don't think she really does enough. My vote's still going to Echidna because she was playing all of the sides so that she always came out on top.
Yeah, and she played it. She's written as a master of playing all of the hands. Like she played with 4 hands in this poker game, and Subaru's over here playing fucking blackjack with his hand open.
Yeah, basically.
He's asking the dealer, is this a good one? And she's just like, you're playing a different game, but yes, sweetie, that one's all right.
That's an okay one.
I made this point on Friday for those of you guys who weren't with us for our watch party of Vinland Saga, but Akito just does so much that like it's really hard for me to not throw her at the top there, because like it's not even like she's just playing all the angles and knows that she's the one who has all the angles, if that makes sense. She's playing the angles as if she is God. And by all rights, like in that universe, she is. So
exactly.
It's such a I don't even know what else to say with that, because like it just Akito is one of those characters as an antagonist that like you become and you watch it and you're like, I hate you. Like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And like anything you do will not make me hate you any less, like ever. You know, like with Rachel, you're kind of like, she really is the second pro tag. Even if you don't like her, you can very much tell it's her story.
We fucking hate Rachel.
Like Echidna, you're like, she's playing all the angles and she's playing it selfishly, but she's also like doing it in this way that allows other people to kind of get what they want as long as she gets what she wants too, right? Like Skuna, even kind of a similar way to that. Even the way he's playing with Itadori, he's kind of like, well, you know, like I guess I'll let him have some things because like it's beneficial for me too. Like, yeah, there is nothing of that in Akito ever. It's everything is mine. If you try and break out of this mold, I will kill you and rip away everything that you hold dear, including ripping it out like your entire psyche. Like, and so it's just very hard for me to look at these other characters and be like,
see, but here's the thing is I have always been a huge fan of antagonists that seem gray instead of just black and white. So like Echidna being able to play Subaru the way that she does, and Sukuna being able to play Itadori the way that he does. I really enjoy that interaction.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what makes a good villain to me. And that's what makes a great antagonist in my eyes.
I just think everybody is unified against Akito being the antagonist that she is, and everybody else kind of like spreads that token out. Like for example, with Echidna, we also have Roswaal, and we're like, yeah, Roswaal's also a really great antagonist there. Now granted, like in the section, like he's not up for debate, right? Like with Skuna, like Mahito's also a great antagonist. In My Hero Academia, like Overhaul's like the antagonist of that section. We also have like All for One and Shikigari.
Shigaraki, yeah.
Like all of these other characters have supporting antagonists that also like allow them to play their part and shine. Like Akito literally is the blackest of black that makes it like be very obvious that like there is nobody else. And at some level, like you also have to understand this is the part that also makes her good. Is she's like, I'm also doing it for the benefit of them because they are Zodiac. And if they aren't with me, there still will never be that form of like fulfillment and so on. So like it also kind of infringes upon that gray area. So I just find it hard to have like like I said, don't get me wrong, all of these are great choices, with the exception of Overhaul because he's kind of a little bitch.
Yeah.
And Rachel for being where she is at the moment. But like it's just hard for me to find somebody that's worse as a form of that than Akito herself. So
I do want to contest the Akito being like the only real antagonist. Sugar Ray plays both sides. And honestly, he enables her and kind of leads into a lot of what he just finds a way to like play both sides.
100%. Yes.
And it like
But-
he
and
is
that's my
playing
point, is
4D chess to win the game.
He becomes Echidna. Or the Roswell. He becomes the Mahito, or the Skuna,
But the thing is he like even from season 1, he is that. It's very obvious that he is playing a game all to himself and trying to puppeteer the whole thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like he's actively working against Akito, but also with her.
Yeah, I agree. It's just it's a rough vote. I just think Akito is better than the rest. Because I love Echidna as an antagonist, and I love Skuna. Like Skuna's my favorite at like some level. I just think Akito is better as an antagonist. Like, because Skuna's like, everything's for me, all of it. Like, I'll give you this like morsel over here. Oh, like, you know, like when Mahito touches him, he's like, I'll give you one shot. Don't do it again. And then he does again. He's like, I know it's because Itadori jumped inside your hole and thing, and you tried to touch my soul. But I told you don't do it. So like, it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter where, it doesn't matter what you did. Like, you did it. So get fucked.
It's not even that Skuna like acknowledges why he's being touched again. It's just the fact that it's like, I fucking told you not to touch me.
And you did anyway.
And you know what? I don't care how we got to this moment. I'm going to beat the living shit out of you. And that's what he does.
And that's what I'm saying, is like, that's why he's my favorite. I just can't, you know, Akito has this moment of like the overarching. So we've been on this topic a little bit too long, I think.
All right.
Yeah, but hey, you know what topic we haven't reached yet is the topic of Best Boy.
Okay, and your nominees for Best Boy are came from Dorohedoro, Gojo Satoru from Jujutsu Kaisen, Kunaguero Agnes from Tower of God, Legoshi from Beastars, Anos Voldegold from Misfit at Demon King Academy, and Hinata Shoyo!
Okay. Sorry.
I think they like Haikyuu.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It's
If I
one of
had
my
to make a
favorites.
guess.
It's one of my favorites.
Honestly, I'm now feeding Paul's ego
Yes.
about Haikyuu. It's for the
Don't feed
bit.
his ego.
I have to. We need
okay,
a new
that's
horse
fine.
to beat, and this is
That's
now my
fine.
horse.
This is your horse.
Um,
Okay.
I have made my case for Best Boy. I believe that Kun is Best Boy on this list. I don't think it's even close.
You don't even think it's close.
No, just
Dang.
because Kun shows up, right? And he's like, he sees Bam and he's like, this kid needs help. I have no idea what's going on, but this kid needs help. I'm going to help him out. And he just picks up this little boy and puts him in his backpack and carries him wherever he goes.
And as I've said before, I think if we're talking about season 2 Kun, 100%.
This is literally season 1 Kun, though.
But like
Season- oh, wait.
But like no, season
wait.
2 Kun takes like that and makes it the nth level. Like it's
Well,
not
once he
fair.
finds out that Bam's alive.
I think for me, it's still Kun, and the reason I say that is Kun doesn't even play 4D chess. He plays 5D chess just to get Bam up the tower. Like that's what he goes through, and I don't like. It doesn't feel like any of the other Best Boy nominees, other than maybe Anos, play that level of like I'm going to protect my friends and the people I care about to any level. Like,
And
Like,
you
it's
see,
not
you could
even
make the
close.
argument for Anos, but at the end of the day, as much as I love Anos, he is a meme.
Yes.
He is a
Yeah.
meme. Yes,
Like,
he is a meme.
and I love that, but I can't take it as seriously as I can take Kun.
it's fair.
I
you know?
can understand that. I can understand that. Yeah.
Kun's gonna get the most votes out of me. I just like find it hard to like not throw both Anos and Gojo Sensei into that. Now, granted, like we haven't seen the rest of Gojo Sensei's story, so like again, we run into this like limited like window.
He is-
and
he is
Tim's
very
smiling
good,
because
though.
he knows. Tim's smiling because he knows.
I
You
the
know,
problem is like if this was voting on the entirety of like all 26 episodes of Jujutsu, it wouldn't even be close for me. Like it would be 7 days slam Gojo every time because I love Kun, but Gojo in the second half he's just
Yep.
In the one episode we've gotten so far, I absolutely love him.
And that's what I'm saying.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like even if we had gotten episode 14 in the first half of the season, it would be very hard for me to pick between the two of them.
Yep. I just think Anos deserves a couple of votes in there because of just the way that he holds and like the way that he's like, no. You are all my progeny and you will all be protected at all costs with everything that I am with no reservations. Oh, and by the way, we have a mini harem and like you're allowed to come too and you can come and we have 3,000 kids. Good job.
Nothing from that entire show is better than the moment that racist bitch was beating up his class and he was like, you know what? How about I just change your entire genetic makeup really quick?
Well, like, and then he goes like, I will remember all of your names for as long as I live. Like, and that's saying is like the king of the demon. Like, he's not like casually throwing that out there. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally him being like, no, you will be enshrined in the halls of you protected my mother for forever and ever. And you will have my different, like, preferential deferred treatment for as long as you live. You know, like, and then him
he's
being
literally
like,
the demon king. He can make them immortal.
like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just like, he's like, you are the best. I love you. Now let me go, like, school this bitch real quick.
Yeah, I'll be
Hold
right
on,
back.
I'll be right back. You know, and so I think he deserves some credit for those moments. I just, again, like, Kun and Gojo Sensei are just so far. Like, and to my point, because I'm a Haikyuu stan, Hinata's great. He just doesn't quite touch the level of best boy that the other people are. He's great. Love him to death. Pure-hearted soul all the way throughout. Like, works his ass off. Like, great submission for best boy category. He just doesn't stand a candle to the rest of them.
But, you know, if we're getting a best boy, that means the chances are we also need a best girl.
And your nominees for best girl of 2020 were Sayaka Kanamori from Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken, the actual best girl, Chizuru Mizuhara from Rent a Girlfriend, Noe from Dorohedoro, Katarina Claes from My Next Life as a Villainess, Abigail Jones from Great Pretender, and the one I love the most,
best girl
Kaguya Shinomiya from Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Yeah, Dylan, I love Great Pretender. It is like one of my favorite shows from the last year. Abigail doesn't deserve to be on this list whatsoever.
I 100% agree with you. Okay, we're on the same page.
I told that to them. They were like, "Is Abigail worthy of best girl?" And I was like, "No, fuck no. She's not even best girl in that show. I don't know why she's there."
Yeah, I have no idea either.
Like,
I see. This is where we get into the Chizuru is just best girl.
Chizuru is just best girl. Like, this is one of those ones that I looked at and I was like,
slam.
you gotta give it to her. Like, Kaguya, very close second.
I have to give it to Kaguya. I have to give it to her. She just edges
That's
it
totally
honestly
fine.
Season
totally
2
fair.
Season 2 of Love is War put it like the line got even closer for me. Like honestly, again, this one's a coin flip for me. I don't care if it's Mizuhara or Shinomiya that win.
I'd be fine with either one winning. I'm giving votes to both of them, but Shizuhara is just getting a little bit more out of me.
Yep. That it's super simple. Mizuhara, ta-da. Bing, check. Let's go on to the next part because we still have a lot of shit to go through.
We still got a lot to go through.
Keep going.
Hey, you know what? It's time that we open up this Pandora's box that's left and we go with an opening sequence. And the nominees are Easy Breezy from Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken, Kai Kai Katan from Jujutsu Kaisen, Wildside from Beastars, GP from Great Pretender, Daddy Daddy Do from Kaguya-sama Love is War, and Phoenix from Haikyuu. And I know for me, this is a insta slam, easy pick. It's over. It's not even fucking close. Goodbye. It's Jujutsu Kaisen. It's Kai Kai Katan. I love that opening. I cannot skip it.
I love the Great Pretender opening. Like, I love the jazz just throw in. I love the animation that goes with it. I think it's wild. I think it's fun. I think it's great.
So
GP is a very close second, but
when I first saw this, you can ask Nate. I literally spent probably 10-15 minutes going through Kai Kai Katan, GP, and Phoenix to figure out which one I put at the top because they're all so very good. I think Kai Katan just edges everybody out just a little bit, but Phoenix is this great like opening piece. It has like a soaring vocal line, you know, like in the opening that goes along with some great animation. You know, the animation for this third season, for the second half of Haikyuu season was incredible, with the exception of the 2 episodes that they had to outsource. But
I do need to bring up the point that I bring up every single time we talk about best opening. The fact that the BNA opening isn't on here is a goddamn travesty.
Yes.
Yeah, I would rather have seen BNA over Easy Breezy or Daddy Daddy Do. I
would have voted for it over all of these, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's just such a bop.
Like, I love the visuals for Kaguya-sama's second season opening, but I don't love Daddy Daddy Do as a song.
Right.
It's just not, it's not my vibe. Like, Love is War, the first season opening, pops, bro. But
Dude,
season Daddy Daddy Do just doesn't hit me.
You're saying Daddy doesn't hit you?
No, he doesn't, and I wish he did. All right. Well, now that we've opened the box, it's time to close the box and end that discussion. And we're on to ending sequence. Da-da-da-da-da. And your nominees are Lost in Paradise from Jujutsu Kaisen, The Great Pretender from the obviously named show Great Pretender, Night Running from BNA, DD from Dorohedoro, Welcome My Friend from The Millionaire Detective, and Last Dance from Inspector. And again, for me, this one is a slam. And I hate that I have to continue to beat the horse of Jujutsu Kaisen, but honestly, Jujutsu Kaisen was one of my favorite shows of 2020. And Lost in Paradise is just such a good ending. It's just so good.
The animation, the visuals, the colors, the fact that they never use the same shading for any of the characters in the ending, and it's a swimmy. You know, like when you just sit here and then your head's going back and forth and you're just kind of chilling. It's not like a headbang. It's not like you're just swimming with it, you know, and it's just so good.
And the contrast that it brings to that show is so nice. Like, you go from this dark horror, you know, gore to a like, hey, wow, this is the only time I've ever seen these characters this happy, and it probably is the only time I'll see them this happy, so I might as well enjoy it.
But Freddie Mercury,
I know.
You can never. Honestly, so here's the thing. This is why
Jujutsu wasn't on this list.
Well, see, that's why it's the best sequence. Because if we're talking about that song,
dude, it's a bunch of cats. It's a bunch of cats singing. I don't know what you want.
Everybody, please just remember the fact that this man is a cat girl stan, and this influences everything he ever does, and it's okay that it's that thing.
Listen, I'm into cat girls, but I wouldn't fuck a cat, Paul. Okay?
Part of me wants that to be cut from the episode, and part of me wants that to be the social clip on the Studio Blank account.
Please do that, please.
I'm not sure where I'm at, you know? Like, it's kind of a like, our reputation, but the fact that we're already this reputation? Anyway. Shut up, I was getting there. But I was like, everyone already knows we're this scuffed, so it's like, fuck it.
Yeah, but like, real talk, The Great Pretender outro,
so
like,
good.
I just love it.
It's good.
It is between that and Lost in Paradise for me. I'm giving both of them votes.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I don't think you can go anywhere else. Dylan's been kind of quiet, so I want to hear Dylan's point on this one, just because like he keeps echoing stuff.
There's not much to say. It just wins. There's not much for me to say here. This is not.
I mean,
a contested category.
To be fair, Lost in Paradise was voted like, it was in the top 3 for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was like #1 in all Japan for 2020's ending sequences. And you know, it's like,
yep.
It's not.
I feel like that's a statement about how much people loved it. And I think it's
next one now. It's just like there's nothing else to say. Just that wins. It's over.
Yeah.
We're done. Next.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
And welcome to a category that literally is only 1 nominee and 5 losers. Best VA performance in Japanese.
Don't say who the winner is first. I want to know if Dylan can guess it.
All right.
Okay.
So your nominees are Ryo Sugiyama as Minara Kode in Wave Listen to Me, Megumi Ogata as Hanako in Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, Yuichi Nakamura as Satoru Gojo in Jujutsu Kaisen, Mutsumi Tamura as Sayaka Kanamori in Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken, Yusuke Onaki as Daisuke Kanbei in The Millionaire Detective, and Yusuke Kobayashi as Natsuki Subaru from ReZero Season 2.
I have to give 3-0.
There it is.
Thank you.
Okay,
Cool.
good.
Moving on.
I'm glad-
Moving on. It's
I'm
not even a
glad that-
question. Not even a question.
I'm gonna give our listeners a quick 2-minute version of why we picked that and why it's not even close to anything.
Not close.
As someone who watched now all 6 of these shows, Yusuke Kobayashi's Subaru performance elicited every facet of emotion throughout the season. When you watch him have the breakdown in front of Echidna, when he finally can talk about Return by Death, you can feel it. Like, you genuinely can feel how, like, relieved and sad and angry and just the sheer joy, but also the sheer sadness that he is, like, putting into the character. And it
His
feels so real.
Yep.
So the entire season was incredible. And you guys all know I fucking hated Subaru going into this.
Yep.
Like, but this
Yeah, this
The
not really
VA
contest
did
here.
It's not
is
even close.
such an absolutely incredible job. Like, it is.
Onto best VA performance for English. Zena Robinson
This
for
is the-
Hawks. Crispin Freeman from Fate, Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front, Babylonia for, I don't know how you say that. How do you say that, Tim?
Ziosudra.
Ziosudra. Aaron Phillips for Laurent from Great Pretender. Johnny Young Bosch from Bam for Tower of God. Jonah Scott for Legoshi for Beastars. And I don't even want to try to say that because it's Spanish and I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try.
I believe it's Aneris Quiones is how you would say it.
You're Hispanic. Isn't this your job?
No.
Okay, as Aneris is Echidna from ReZero Season 2. I went
So
through.
actually, going over this list a second time, I am 100% voting Aaron Phillips for Laurent.
Okay.
Because I did watch Great Pretender in both the Japanese and English at different parts, and I think he did an absolutely incredible job.
I went through and watched 3 episodes of all of these shows, and tried to find good clips of all of them so that I could maybe get an idea of who to vote for. And honestly, I am 100% sold on Aneris Quinones as Echidna.
I believe it.
When she does the reveal of how bad she's been playing Subaru, it just hits.
Fair.
It just hits. It's a really good, like, again, talking about range, she slaughters the rest of the competition for me. It's not even close. I went back and rewatched all of season 2 where we had Echidna and just the Echidna scenes in English just to see, and she does what Yusuke Kobayashi does for Subaru.
I agree with that.
It's over. It's over. It's over. That's how I feel.
We have like a contentious category. It's just winning.
See, to be fair, like I really enjoyed Bam, and I really enjoyed what I heard from Aaron Phillips as well for Laurent. I just didn't watch all of Great Pretender. It's still on my list. I've been watching pieces, so like I can't quite sell that one. But like I've seen Hawks in like 3 or 4 now, and like Zeno does the I know more than I let on, but I'm not telling you. But also like just do what I say voice very, very well. Right. As well as like the small concern pieces and whatnot. So it's one of those where I'm like, you have to give him some credit, so I got to give him a vote at the very least.
Yeah, I voted for Hawks on the first day because I had seen his work, or I had seen Zeno's work as Hawks, and it was fantastic. And I had not seen the rest, and I felt really bad voting in a category that I did not feel versed in, so I went and watched, and I was like, wow, I really enjoyed everyone's work in English. It was not hard for me to enjoy the dubs with these voice actors.
Yep.
Also, like,
which is a positive thing.
So also, like, Crispin Freeman.
Yeah.
He's exo male for Destiny.
Yeah,
so
and
he's who I hear. He's who I hear whenever my character actually speaks. So like, these are all really good voice actors, and they're all doing a really good job. I feel like English dubs have come such a long way.
Yes,
I agree.
100%.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Best Director.
And your nominees are Masaki Yuasa from Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken, Yuzuru Tachikawa from Decadence, Sung-Hoo Park for Jujutsu Kaisen, Hiro Kaburagi from Great Pretender, Mamoru Hatakeyama from Kaguya-sama, and Takashi Sano for Tower of God. And for me, it's, again, this is another one where I can let all 6 win. The direction on all 6 of these shows were fucking chef's kiss. I know personally that Jujutsu and Tower for me are the 2 ahead, but I would be happy with any of the 6 of them winning. All 6 of these directors deserve all the recognition they can get, and I can't wait to see what else they're working on.
So like, for example, like with JJK, just the opening 2 episodes. Like I think this is the way I feel about this, is you can tell a director is going to be good in the first 2 to 3 episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can agree.
Like the opening of JJK knocks your socks off. The opening of Tower of God knock your socks off. The opening of Great Pretender, if you aren't paying attention, it won't quite knock your socks off. But if you ever you go back forth and like pay attention to the details, knocks your socks off with details. Like Kaguya-sama Love is War, it knocks your socks off. Like all of these moments and all these directors have such a good job, like do such a good job of pulling you in those first 3 or 4 episodes to be like, this is why you want to watch this. Like for the rest of us, Tower was so good, it literally built a podcast. Like, so, you know, it's hard for us to ignore that one when we're voting.
Well, so my argument with Tower was having read the webtoon all the way through, like multiple times, and seeing how they translated it. There was a lot that they ended up cutting and replacing, and they even added a lot of really unique stuff to the anime that wasn't in the webtoon. That just fleshed out the world more. Like,
yeah, it did a very good job fleshing it out too. Like,
which
yes, I missed the banana joke.
Yeah,
but they did a lot.
I'm sad the banana joke was gone, but still,
like, some of the other content we got for it was worth. Like the moment you see Shibusu, and I can never remember her name, the one where she's leaving. Like you don't see that in the webtoon, and honestly, that scene was heartbreaking. It was well directed. It was well written. It was well drawn.
Well voice acted.
Yeah,
incredibly well VA'd. And I was like, honestly, that to me, if it was like, if I have the banana joke or that, I will take that scene every time. Like the banana joke is just, it's a good dick joke. That's all it is.
We also got more Ghost.
Yep,
that's true. We did.
Was in the webtoon, which is really cool because we have more Ghost in the anime than in the webtoon as a whole now.
That's actually crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's wild because he's only shown up in one other scene.
It's true.
But
wild.
But that's just, if I wasn't giving it to that, I'd give it to Great Pretender, just because Great Pretender is a show with so many moving parts.
Yep.
Being able to actively direct that and create a story that works around it is something that I adore.
Yep. 100%.
So, you can tell I simp for Great Pretender.
Onward to Best Animation.
Your nominees are Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken, The God of High School, Great Pretender, Jujutsu Kaisen, Princess Connect Redive, and Beastars.
This is a competition between God of High School and Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, it's honestly it's Mappa fighting Mappa on itself, and for me, it's JJK. I think everything that they learned in God of High School, they applied in JJK, and they made it that much better. The panning shots are better. The impact
lighting,
frames on a lot of the hits is better. The lighting is so much better.
But we also have to talk about like so for example, like the creative license between the 2 shows are entirely different, right? Like in God of High School, we got the brushstroke fight in Mori versus Dewi. Yeah. Like that right there.
Which that alone was animated beautifully enough that if JJK had not been on this list, it would have won God of High School Best Animation purely off one scene for me. Like it would have been over for the one scene.
Yep.
And like, so again, because I'm simping for it, like Great Pretender, I love the style that they have, but there's no competing with what Mappa does.
Yep.
They are another tier as far as animation studios right now. Yep. Like they are the kings. They have the crown. They sit on the throne, and nobody's dethroning them for a while.
Right.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel bad for Beastars.
have to give it
being
some
in
love.
this category.
Mhm.
Because it feels like
3D.
it's 3D, and a lot of people don't love that. And honestly, I
people-
wish there was a category for best animation and then best 3D.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if it came down to best 3D, Beastars wins that category every single time for me, no doubt in my goddamn mind.
Yep.
Like it's over. Like Studio Orange has done such a good job like with that show that it's not even funny. Like the like the 3D CG does not induce like feelings of nausea.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to turn my eyes away from the screen to watch, like, because I'm watching it. It feels very fluid, it's well animated, and it's done in 24 frames, so it's like, wow, it's not like visually disgusting. And that's usually our complaint.
Yep.
Is that it's either like the 3D CG is animated in like 12 to match the backgrounds, or it's, you know, in 24 and the background is still in 12, so it still looks out of place.
Yep.
Whereas all of Beastars is in 24 and it just everything looks like it belongs.
Yep. Okay, guys, we're gonna take a quick break here for a word from our sponsors because we're a long way into this episode. When we get back, we have best character design, best fight scene, best drama, best comedy, best score, and best couple, followed by best fantasy, before we close out with some just fun discussion about what we're watching, reading, hanging out with. See you in a minute.
We have a lot.
We still have a lot to go.
Oh yeah, though there's
I mean,
a lot.
we're already like halfway done.
Whoa, we're halfway there.
Whoa.
Tanix in a chair.
I was gonna make a joke about Titans in the air, kinetic bombardment, but okay.
Tanix on a chair works too.
I love Tanix in a chair. It's such a good meme.
I'm catching up to my Tampa versus New Orleans game, and Tampa. It's 30-20 Tampa. Breeze turned it over 2 more times. Not necessarily his fault. Breeze turned it over. One was kind of his fault. The option route didn't go the way it was supposed to with Kamara, and then the next one was just a tip that his guy didn't catch it and pick, you know, Tampa, and Brady's just been doing Brady things and running the run it right now. So
Can we quickly talk about that pick call for New Orleans?
Hold on, I gotta hear this.
Who the fuck called that legal?
I don't understand that call.
I watched that clip and I was like so mad
2-minute break
that it
right
didn't
now.
get challenged. I was like so mad that it didn't get challenged because it was so obviously not
right.
Like
that wasn't the thing.
I just don't know what was happening.
The Browns should have won today.
the Browns didn't play their best today.
I mean,
and
sure,
that sucks.
But the two like controversial, humongous helmet to helmet calls like ruined the game for them, and both of those should have been in Cleveland's favor. Like one of them was a touchdown, the other one, so like it's just real rough.
Oh no, for sure. Like
so, you know, Kevin Stefanski gets Coach of the Year. If he doesn't, I'll be shocked. So that was.
If he doesn't, I think Cleveland will riot, and Goodell might get shot.
It's not gonna be pretty.
Because
so they almost beat the Chiefs, which would have been wild, and then the Browns run game destroys Buffalo. Like it's not even close.
I agree with that.
I really hope Mahomes gets better because I love Patrick. Patrick's great. Want him to get better. Had a really rough concussion, or something of that nature. So hoping he gets.
Yeah,
better.
he's out with a concussion, and which is a real shame because I actually love Patrick Mahomes.
Yep. Great, salt of the earth, 10 out of 10 boy.
Alrighty.
Get back in just a second. Here we go. Okay.
We're on to best
characters.
Yes. Okay,
This
I
one's
am
so
ready.
easy. Guys, welcome back to this episode of Studio Blank. We're going through the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, and we're on to best character design.
And your nominees are now Yuki Asano, originals Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken, Hoshiyuki Sadamoto and Hirotaka Kato for Great Pretender, Mayuki Ito for Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, Genis-chan and Yusuke Yoshigaki for BNA, Masashi Kudo and Miho Tanino for Tower of God, and Rumiko Takahashi and Yoshihito Kishinuma for Yashahime Princess Half Demon.
I don't think this is I really don't think this is a contest.
You don't think this is a competition? I'd be okay with 3 of these winning.
All right, what's your 3?
I'm okay with 4.
My 3 would be Tower of God,
Okay.
BNA, and Great Pretender.
And
I think that
my list is very similar.
Okay, what's your list?
I have 4, and my only addition to that list is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, because those characters are goddamn adorable.
So the reason I chose those 3 is they all choose a really unique style, and they all do a really good job. Like Great Pretender and BNA are both original. Like all those characters were brought from the ground up. I think that's even more impressive, and they deserve recognition for that. And then Tower of God did such a good job of, if you've read the webtoon for Tower of God season 1, is not very pretty.
Yeah.
I would say that it's actually visually jarring how rough SIU's drawing skill was 10 years ago when he was first starting TOG.
Yeah, and that's totally fair. But the transition that they made and the way that they designed all the characters and fit them to the anime, I loved the design that they chose. I love the style that they went with. Like, I think it all just fits so well.
So my two tokens of this, then I want to hear Dylan's contest is, I think Tower wins it by a landslide for 2 reasons. I love Great Pretender. I think it's in there, and BNA is gorgeous, right? I just think that Tower at some level almost created an entirely new style with how they did their line work, and then pulling it directly from what the sketches would have been like. For example, right? Like if you go to that, like a bunch of these like straight cuts from the webtoon, you can put that, and it is almost in essence like 1-to-1, but done clean, done beautifully, done with a lot of things that you would hope to see from a tier 1 anime studio, but in a style that's realistically, like with the way they had to do the powers, like Shinsu looks entirely different. It feels and looks like water in a style that is very thick line, except, you know, like it's almost an entirely new style of building a world. While
the thicker lining reminds me a lot of Demon Slayer, and I adore the artwork in Demon Slayer.
The thing is, though, what I love even more. So Demon Slayer's thick line work is clean. This is not.
Yeah, and
that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Is like they literally fundamentally almost built it and took a whole new one.
Absolutely.
I
so
think
Dylan,
for me, it's like BNA is like right here for me, and then Tower God's like right here.
Fair.
It's like this.
Yeah.
Is this close to me?
Dude, they're both so good. Like design wise.
My list is like this. Ready? We'll start TOG at my eyes. BNA, Great Pretender, Hanako-kun. Honestly, all 4 of them are within like a 1 to 2% range of the next closest one, and then everything below that is like starting at my chin.
And so and like I said,
the thing
it's
is,
not
honestly,
because
for me,
bad.
like Yashahime, Princess Half Demon is, for a lack of a better term, very vanilla.
Yeah,
it's Inuyasha today.
Yeah, yes, but like it doesn't do anything new. It doesn't do anything relative unique.
It's not pushing the envelope.
Exactly. And then Keep Your Hands Off Aizokin, I think is great style, but I don't particularly like it. And that's just a personal choice.
And I feel the same way. Like, I love the story of Aizokin. I love the score. I love the characters. I love the story. But visually, it's not as appealing to me as those other 4 were.
Yeah.
So.
But man, I'm glad that we're having a conversation about this and we're not arguing, because if we were to have a fight scene, it wouldn't match up with these next ones in the next category. Tim, what are we looking at?
And your nominees for best fight scene. I'm gonna start from the bottom of the list. Brawler versus Master from Akudama Drive. Jin Mori versus Han Dewi from The God of High School. Deku versus Overhaul, My Hero Academia Season 4. Berkuli vs. Dark God Vecta from Sword Art Online, Alicization, War of the Underworld Part 2, Jin Mori versus Jagal Taik from The God of High School, and Satoru Gojo versus Ryomen Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen. I am good on 4 of these fights.
You're good with the God of High Schools, Akadama, and Jujutsu, right?
Yeah.
I think
I have to. Go ahead.
Dylan, I want to hear your points because we kind of like.
Okay. All right. I have
We-
to throw
we-
in. I have to throw in. Brawler versus Master. I have to throw that one in. The
Mhm.
shot
I love-
composition with the rain. Oh my! It was beautiful. It was amazing.
The
Like, right,
the
that's what I'm saying.
lighting, yeah.
The still
The
shots.
Brawler vs. Master fight, especially when they're up against the fucking Ferris wheel lights.
Right.
That section alone is so perfect that I almost made it my wallpaper on my phone and both of my computers
So-
across
Have-
4
yeah, you have to
monitors.
do it.
It is the
That's
background of my
totally
iPad.
fair.
Like,
So I
I
didn't
have-
get
I
to
love
see.
that
I
shot.
didn't get to see all of it. From what I did get to see that Tim showed us, it very much reminds me of Cowboy Bebop crossed with like Sword of the Stranger. Like you have these gorgeous like lighting like shots that like are built to like capture the gorgeous like light and the frames and the flares and all that, and then you have the shot composition for fights that comes from the Sword of the Stranger in the classic like,
Exactly.
and it just looks gorgeous. Now I made this point to them the other week. I really think Gojo versus Sukuna is the weakest fight out of JJK that they could have put in here. Not the weakest, but like there's like 3 or 4.
It's not the best fight they could have chosen.
Not the best they could have chosen.
I still voted. I'm still voting for it.
Mori versus Taek Jagal is also a weaker fight. Like the LPO one is so much better than that.
In
I
like
agree
almost
with
every
that.
aspect, in my opinion.
Don't get me wrong, it's a good fight, but you have the LPO fight. You have like
the day we fight.
The day we fight, which is of course also on this list. Like, and there's just a couple better ones that like even the
Mira
Mira
versus
what's his name?
completely irrelevant. That's the best part.
You know-
It's the Mira doing her best. That fight is still so much better than Jin Mori versus
yeah.
Jagal.
So
Jagal Taik.
like for just on that thought, like I removed both of those pseudo from my list
Okay.
in that voting, just because I'm like, if you were giving me one of the better fights, I'd totally consider voting for it. But like because you gave me the not so great ones, you know, Berkoli versus Dark God Vecta was actually surprisingly good. Like if you didn't watch Sword Art, like whatever, but like that was actually a solid fight. Now,
Yeah,
I don't think it
watched it.
competes. I don't think it competes with Mori versus Dewi. Like, it doesn't. But for a Sword Art fight, that was the best fight they could have chosen out of that entire section, with maybe
with
the
that.
exception of the final fight. In all honesty, either the final fight or when they're fighting the chick with the light sword. Like those two other
okay.
fights, you know, maybe actually no, it's the brawlers, the monk guys. Anyway. Like, there's like 2 other fights in Sword Art that I consider like to be on that tier, and so they could have done that as well.
the reason I'm going for the Gojo versus Sukuna is because it does such a great introduction to the way that fights work in that. The animation is stellar. The camera work is amazing. If you ever do a 360 in a fight scene, like you've sold it to me. That
agree
is
on
Yeah.
My reason for picking that is very similar. That fight sets up how busted Gojo is.
Mhm.
Like that should give you a general idea of how disgustingly overpowered Gojo is compared to that at that point Ryomen Sukuna. And so when you hear Gojo later in the season, I think it's later in the next or in that episode or the next episode that you hear him going and he's talking with Eugene. He's like, okay, so who would win, you or Sukuna, if Sukuna was like full power back right now? And Gojo's like, bro, it's me, easy.
Easy.
And it's like,
hesitate.
yeah, like there is no moment of like hesitation
And
in
see-
his voice. And that fight scene solidifies that moment for me.
I see,
and I'm like, all right.
I disagree simply because I think we really don't get to see that, and that context doesn't really work until you see Sukuna demolish the S tier spirit that had the finger. And it's like, and he doesn't even break a sweat. He's literally just toying around. And then when you like picture that and you go, oh, Gojo did that to that, like that's when you catch it. It's not before then. Same thing when we catch the Infinite Void and the Magma
Here's
World.
the thing, though. You know, like I don't need the context of how a piece of candy is made to enjoy it.
Exactly.
See,
but it makes it better.
I'm just making the point that
it does. It's bad analogy for it to be better, but you know.
But you get what I'm saying? Is like I think
I don't need all the context for it.
I just think the other two fights were both visually more stunning, and had better lateral horizontal meaning, right? Like Gojo versus like Volcano Head was literally like
Jogo
was like,
yes, his name is Jogo.
Like I literally sat there with my jaw on the floor the moment like they started dueling perfect domains. Like it was like, oh, there we go. And of course that's when everybody realized Gojo Sensei was a pretty boy, and you know, nobody was upset. And if you were upset, then I'm concerned for you. But so
no, I believe the meme is, oh no, he's hot. And at that point I was like I knew he was already good looking. Like I've read the manga, but God, did they do such a good job with it?
Yep.
It's just like, oh.
And then I want to make my case for Deku versus Overhaul being on the list, not necessarily it winning.
I was gonna say I did want to talk about Deku versus Overhaul and why I discount that fight.
I don't like Overhaul being the whiny little pussy ass bitch that he is in the anime versus what he is in the manga, which is an incredibly calculated, smart, tenacious antagonist who like is doing it for reasons that he believes are proper, right? Like great villain in the manga. It really doesn't shine through in the anime. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels a little bit of like a cop out. But at the same time, like everybody discounts the fact that whole fight is actually like 6 episodes long. Like people forget that like it starts with them fighting him. It ends with Eri sitting on Deku's back with some of the best animation I've seen out of a show since Mob Psycho. And that's where I get into this whole point where I'm like, you have these moments where you see the One Punch Man and Mob Psycho come out of this animation studio, like where he does like the 50,000 punches and just, you know, Overhaul explodes. Like, and then the movement, the air movement, the full shots, like where they do the pan around him in the air, like where you have these gorgeous impact frames that aren't just white, they're rainbow colored because Deku's in full 100%. Like you have all these little tokens that make that fight actually mwah, right? It just feels like it could have been done better. And I think like the other 2 fights that beat it on this list, I think 3, because Brawler versus Master is a different kind, but it does the same feeling that the other 2 do, is it gives you all of it in one package. It just feels like it's just a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah. So with Brawler versus Master, though, I wanted to say that's the only fight on this entire list where I didn't know who was gonna win. I had no idea.
I just
have to give credit.
I'm going through and I'm looking at some of the previous winners for recent years. Does anyone want to take a wild guess at what the winner of last year's fight scene was? It's pretty obvious if you think about it.
It wasn't it All Might versus All for One?
No, that was 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Then I don't.
I don't remember.
Oh, it was Tanjiro and Rui. That's what that fight was. It was Hinokami Kagura, which
I'm looking through these lists,
makes
and
sense.
The previous winners for best fight scene there was no competition for them. This is like the first year that we're actually getting a really good debate around it.
I agree.
So, like a lot of these previous winners,
like I said,
no competition.
I really think you have to slam Mori versus Dewi though. I really like.
But speaking of having no competition, let's look at our next category, best drama.
Sorry, I went and looked, and I wanted to see if 2018 had the best fight scene because I don't remember, and it doesn't. It didn't have the category. But 2017's winner was also one that just did not have competition. It was Shigeo versus Koyama, and that one also literally no competition. I remember that season.
Yep. So best drama nominees are Fruit Basket Season 2, Great Pretender, Japan Sinks 2020, Sing Yesterday for Me, Beastars, and Somali and the Forest Spirit. if you
It's
don't,
a tough one.
No,
For
it's
me,
not.
a tough one. No.
Have
Okay.
you watched Sing
have you
Yesterday
watched
for
it
me?
Yesterday for me?
Yes, I have. It's I think it's that. Oh man, it's tough for me.
For me, this was like there is an order, and it's a very easy order. It's Sing Yesterday for me, which isn't even on the scale anymore because it shattered it.
It was so good.
And then
It's so
and then
good.
it's either Great Pretender or Somali.
Yep.
And then Fruits Basket.
Yep.
And then Beastars, and then Japan Sinks. Like Japan Sinks is on the other end of not being measured.
Japan sinks sunk.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it should not be on this list in my opinion. But like,
Mhm.
I agree with you, but I think it's a little bit more tired than what you're saying.
Mhm.
I just think
in my
Sing
opinion.
Yesterday for me, it both in its just absolute gorgeous animation, which was
Right.
like some of the best we've seen all year, right?
Which I wish it had been nominated for Best Animation.
Could have done it.
Yeah.
Or Best Character Design.
I think
It
it
could
was
be in any other
also so
category.
stupidly relatable in like forcing emotion out of you that it doesn't, like, it's so hard to look at these others. I love Somali and the Forest Spirit. Like, I loved Fruits Basket season 2. Great Pretender was, like, from what I've seen, is like a great watch. I just think Sing Yesterday, especially like that first episode, if that did not elicit some form of like gut punch for you, when he's all like, so I've loved you for like the past 4 years, like I'm totally interested, do you think we could date? And just the girl that you've been in love with for the past 4 years looks at you and goes, can we
Why can't
just
we-
be friends?
No, it's not even that. Can we not be friends? That's the statement. I went back and watched it. That is the exact quote. Can we not be friends?
And it's just like rips your heart out into a million pieces and then throws it on the ground. You're like, holy shit, this is relatable and I'm about to die. And it does that for the entire show. Like, every week. So, like, I think it's just really hard to take that one and, like, look at other stuff. Because it's just so very well done in all of those aspects. Like I said, Somali's great. Fruits Basket Season 2 is, like, serotonin, but also, like, hard choices in serotonin.
Yeah.
And Great Pretenders, like, a gorgeous drama back and forth and comedy along with, like, suspense and intellectual thriller investigation of, like, pieces. So I just think it's just so good above the rest that it's hard.
I think I have to give it to Somali over
Really?
that. I just a little bit for me. It's just like it's so close for me.
Yep.
I think the best drama part of Somali for me is the fact that the manga ended so abruptly because the mangaka's health took such a sharp decline that I'm still crying over it, because I unironically really loved the art style, the story, the characters, and I was emotionally invested in it. And it's a damn shame that it's not going to go all the way to conclusion.
Right.
Yep.
Which hurts me.
Something that's not so funny is making
Yeah,
our
that's
way
not so
to
funny.
what's best comedy. So we're gonna move on to best comedy category. Tim, hit us with our nominees.
And your nominees are Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken, Kaguya Small Love is War, My Next Life as a Villainess, All Routes Lead to Doom, Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle, Kakushi Goto, and The Misfit at Demon King Academy. History's strongest Demon King reincarnates and goes to school with his descendants.
I can never get over that title.
That title
It's a
is a
great
mouthful,
one.
but it's hilarious.
I think like Misfit just came out of nowhere swinging.
Yep.
I remember when we were getting prepped for the summer season, and Mal had the wrong description for Misfit, and we were like prepped for him to be absolutely goddamn useless.
Yep.
And then he comes out of nowhere and he's just over the top Saitama levels of goddamn broken.
Hold on. Let
And
me
they-
snap and kill you and bring you back and beat you with my heartbeat.
And over
And-
and over again.
Yeah, and just the level of broken is honestly it's one of the best comedic relief tools that they have in that show, and they do it so well. It reminds me of One Punch Man season 1 and how the Saitama like moments where he's just like consecutive normal punches and you watch him destroy shit, like when he deletes Boros,
Yep.
and it's like, you know what, that was flawless.
And I think go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, so for me, I think Misfit gets a little bit more credit than One Punch because One Punch, I know it's a satire. This, I don't know if it's a satire. I don't know if it's serious or it's I don't know. I can't tell you.
That's fair, actually. Now
I can't
that
tell you. I can't.
What,
Well, so-
Misfit?
yeah.
Yeah, Misfit.
So-
I can't tell you if it's a satire or. If
Oh,
it's
dude,
actually-
it has to be satire.
I don't know though.
There's no way that it's not a satire on that entire genre of OP main characters.
I know, but they do it so well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, like honestly, they
Like
lean
it
into
has
the
to be.
bits so
It
well.
has to be.
It's like
It's just like you don't like. You have moments where you're like, I'm not sure, but it has to
Yeah.
be. So like for Misfit, for me, it's the fact that they also don't like abuse it.
Yeah.
Like you know, like there's shows that try and do that and they abuse the ever loving shit out of it, and you get really annoyed with it really quickly. But with
For sure.
with Misfit, like it makes sense, it's tasteful, it's never like you never sit there going, why is he so that ridiculous? Because it just every time he does something, it kind of feels right. Like he does the castle thing. He's spinning like he's spinning a castle on his finger like a basketball, and then throws it. And he's like, you guys thought it was all about magic. Hold on, let me prove to you that physical strength matters too. And you're just like,
Or like when he pulls out, or when him and Ray are gonna do a sword fight, and Ray pulls out his sword, he's like, "I'm ready to kick your ass," and then Otto's just pulls out a stick, and he's like, "Let's go."
This will do. Yeah, this is fine. I can beat you with this.
Well,
Yeah,
He's like, "I'm gonna kick your ass with this," and Ray's like, "All right, it'll be my pleasure to get my ass kicked with a stick. Let's go."
well, like there's those, and then like when he's messing with the time shit, like he's like, oh, I've done this
did
a
you
couple
think
times.
freezing time would be enough to stop me?
Did you think
Did you
killing
think killing me would be enough to make me die?
And you're just like, and the best part is he's like, oh yeah, this isn't the first time I've done that. I've done this a couple of times. Like I've only messed with time and like fate and everything only a couple of times. Don't worry about it. Like,
Or when he casts Geograze by himself
Yeah.
multiple times at the same time, you're like, what? You're
what?
watching a group of children cast Geograze together out of a cannon, and he's like, okay, 1, 2, 3,
Great.
go.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a flame war.
Well, like, and then he goes, oh, here's the weakest, smallest fire spell. Boop. And it just destroys Geograce.
Yeah.
It just flies through it.
Just casual.
And everybody's like,
Yeah, because
Oh.
he can.
You know, like,
Or when he shatters the like magic power registering crystal, so it reads a 0.
Yep.
Wow. Wait. Wow. What would you rate Demon King, like, out of 1 to 10?
Me?
Or,
For
I mean
me-
everybody.
immeasurable.
For me, it's at least a 9 out of 10.
At least a 9 out of 10. What about you, Dylan?
I have to go 9. I'm telling you back to what I said. I don't know if it's satire. I think it's a logical conclusion of the satire of the OP character, but like they do it. That line is perfect. I have to give it a 9.
I have to
Yeah,
give
I
it,
think I think 9 is a good score, but the best score is the next category.
I would like to point out Kaguya-sama gets an honorable mention out of this one because
Oh, Kaguya-sama is one of the greatest shows out of like this
but
past couple of
Misfits
years.
just they did Jova.
It came out of nowhere, so
Nominees
it lived
for
up
best
to expectations that nobody should have had.
Nominees
let
for
me-
best score. Tim, go.
All right. Kensuke Ushio from Japan Sinks. Alyssa Okahizama for God of High School. I am going to butcher this for
Urutaichi.
Urutaichi for Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken. Satoru Kosaki for Beastars. Yutaka Yamada for Great Pretender. And my favorite Australian on the goddamn planet, Kevin Penkin for Tower of God. And as someone who owns the vinyl for Tower of God, with
Tower.
Kevin Penkin's entire score, it's not even close for me. The score for Tower was just
It was
God tier.
it was otherworldly. It was classic. It had all of the like proper elements. It had gorgeous themes for each character. Like I think Rachel's theme is actually my favorite. Like if you sit back and go and listen to it, it's just so very good. I think honorable mention actually is probably God of High School with Elisa, because
yeah.
the moments in that show are defined by some of those scores.
Honorable mention, Great Pretender.
Yes,
Yes,
I
Yutaka
have to agree with
Yamada
that.
did such a good job with Great Pretender.
And the
Like,
reason
again,
I want to
if Tower of God was not on this list, it's immediately Great Pretender for me. Yutaka Yamada did such a good job with that.
see for me,
Absolutely.
for me, I think I have to put both of those at like a associate equal honorary mention because they're very different styles of soundtrack. You know what I mean? Like Tower has its own like nucleus that makes everything that makes it good, and God of High School is very much more classic. and then Great Pretender gets a little bit out of that realm and goes jazzy and this kind of like fun
I'm a huge
bit.
fan of that.
So like, you know, I love it. It's just, I think because Tower was so revolutionary in its sound design, like you have to give it to that. But I think Great Pretender and God of High School, for both different reasons, make that super like honorary second list.
Off topic point, but honestly, I would love to see Kevin Penkin do scores for video games as well, because I feel like he would shatter
Good
stuff.
work. Yeah, he can
Like,
transition easily.
imagine Kevin Penkin doing the next like huge expansion of Destiny's score. Just hearing like that's fucking the Witch Queen. He's the one directing the music for Witch Queen.
His music style could absolutely fit it.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like,
easy transition.
it would be absolutely flawless, and that would be something that I would, if they were like, Bungie was like, oh, by the way, Kevin Penkin is doing the score for Witch Queen. I'd be like, okay, so where do I get the limited edition vinyl, and how many copies can I buy?
Yep. Let's keep going because we are. It's gonna be a long episode.
2 categories left. We're almost there. Then we can actually talk about anime.
Yeah. Okay.
Then
Ready?
the podcast
Okay.
starts.
Yes. So, best couple. Your nominees are Chizuru Mizuhara and Kazuya Kinoshita from Rent a Girlfriend, Katarina Claes and Maria Campbell from My Next Life as a Villainess, Kotoko Iwanaga and Kuro Sakuragawa. God, I fucking hate this. Inspector Legoshi and Haru from Beastars, Kaguya Shinomiya and Miyuki Shirogane from Kaguya-sama Love is War, and Nasa Yuzaki and Tsukasa Yuzaki from Tanikawa Over the Moon for You. And now, I know that my pick on this list, they're not dating, so why are they on this list?
Simp.
You're right, I am a simp. Shut the fuck up. My pick for this falls typically to Kaguya and Miyuki. And the reason I say that is, without them and their antics, that show does not exist, you know? Like, the whole point of that show is the shenanigans that those two are putting on to get together. And for me, like, the fact that you can have those level of antics and still have great characters otherwise makes them like an ideal facet for the show. And I love them, and like how hard they work to make the other happy, even though it might fuck up their level of the power balance.
Right. Mm-hmm. I have to give it to Beastars. I think the dynamic of those two characters is just on another level compared to everybody else. The struggle they have to go through, and then the relationship, and I can't like spoil too much because that's the entire show. But like, I think that does it for me on a different level compared to everything else.
See,
yeah, that's how I felt about that too.
Nasa and Tsukasa and Tonikawa, just because it's so cute and it's so wholesome, and like it just warms my heart watching them. It's like, it's so perfect.
I love Kaguya and Miyuki, but I really think Tsukasa and Nasa have this like, it like we've said it all year, like it's serotonin in a show, you know, like if you are not having a great day, you just go rewatch Tonikawa and like your day is automatically better, right? But I think it's for the reasons that like they portray like little parts of young love and early married life that like you'd either like heard from your friends or seen, like, and they just do it in like, of course, to the nth level, where it's just either super funny, super cute, or super relatable, and you have all these moments where you're like, yep, I could totally see that happening, or I could see that happening. And then you take it to the fact that they're newly married and they really don't know each other, and it's just this adorable little young thing. And like, I think it's literally between them, but I think just because it warmed my heart for that entire season so well, I have to give it to Tonikawa, because I think it's more of a best couple there, and I think Kaguya and Miyuki have this like best on their way to being they're the couple that like, we all know is going to be the couple that we're just like waiting for them to finally be there. And I'm kind of like, it's great, we love you, but just get it over with already. It's much like when Nasa's sitting here going like, can I hold your hand? It's like, yes, get it over with already. And that's
I think for me, like, for me, part of my like not hard picking Nasa and Tsukasa is that like I love them as a couple. I love the antics, I love the shenanigans for the same reason I love Kaguya and Miyuki. But at the same time, like, it's like the two of them, when they do shit like that, it gets to me on an emotional level, and I'm like, I stop being like happy sometimes, and I'm like, will you just shut the fuck up and do your goddamn job? Whereas like with Kaguya and Shinomiya, or with Kaguya and Miyuki, like I'm expecting them to fuck it up, you know? And then when they do, it's funny to me. Like it's like, all right, cool, thank you for playing into the bit. Now can we move on to the next shenanigan? Thank you.
Yep.
I need the next shenanigan now.
Well, you know, it's a fantasy if they ever get together, so we're gonna move on to best
I was gonna say,
there.
just like the idea of any of us being in a relationship, let's talk about fantasies.
That works too.
I
Good job.
like that transition. That one's chefs, bro.
I have nothing more to say. Tim, hit us with our nominees for best fantasy.
The final category, let's go.
All right, our nominees are Decadence, Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai, Ascendance of a Bookworm Part 2, Dorohedoro, ReZero, Starting Life in Another World Season 2, and Tog. And
My vote is split.
Okay, what's your split?
My vote is split between Tower and ReZero.
I have 5 shows in this that I genuinely could be pretty happy seeing win.
Yeah.
I have
I'm
preferences.
I'm not upset with Decadence. I'm really not upset with Dorohedoro. I've seen enough of Ascendance of a Bookworm that I'm not upset with that either, right? I just think
I forgot that Decadence was made by Studio Nut.
My God.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm a child.
I was saving that bit for the end, and I was gonna be like, Nate, you've taken my joke away. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's okay.
So I just think Tower, again, and this is due to SIU's work, not necessarily because like any of these other worlds are not as good or whatnot. Tower is literally a universe that is the size of freaking like Lord of the Rings on steroids, which is saying something. Like,
but I feel like my only issue with that is we're looking at it from
the web
having read the whole thing.
So,
like,
no, Tim. So here's my argument against that. I watched all of ReZero Season 1, and I watched ReZero Season 2 Part 1. And I didn't really grab onto the world, really. It's very,
I agree with
it's
that.
like, it's fantasy, but it's very basic fantasy, and it's got its own little things. Tower of God, I was 3 episodes in, and I was so invested and interested in the world and what was going on.
I was going to get to that point, but okay.
Oh,
what I was going to say was is season 1 of Tog does a lot to give you an idea of the scope of the world, but it doesn't give you the whole scope. Whereas ReZero, as a season 1 and season 2, but especially season 2, starts to give you a scope of really what's going on.
I just feel like for example,
can I finish the thought, please? There was more to that.
That's fair.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Steal Tim's thunder again.
What I was going to say is, and the reason I said we're looking at Tog with, again, the vision of knowing everything that's going on, they have done a very good job of putting the platform out to expand to the full breadth of it, and which is why it gets my vote.
Fair. So,
okay, but I wanted to say that the argument of, yes, the world is as large as Lord of the Rings, does not necessarily apply to the anime at its current standpoint.
I agree.
I agree.
My point is more so that like even in that season, we have
it does a very good job of sucking you in.
I mean, it's not even just that. I think the beginning of season 1 has enough flashes of like showcasing depth that ReZero, at least in the second, like ReZero season 1 has more fantasy depth than ReZero season 2. And of course, that's because like ReZero season 2 is literally the same like 3 days of Subaru's life. So I don't fault it for that, right? I'm just saying that like because of that, Tower's first season has the breadth and the flashes, whether it be Urek, whether it be like showcasing bits of who Yuri is without actually giving you any of the season 2 content, like
showing the Lopabia twins.
Like all of this like showcases a breadth that in ReZero we're limited to, like, particular, and this is why I'm making that point. It's like this whole season 2 is literally those 3 days. And like while you're getting tidbits of information you never really like get past the scope of the sanctuary and the mansion for this, as opposed to season 1 where we got like the white whale, the other countries, like you've lost your memory, like we got a much bigger scope. So if we were going to talk about it in season 1 and then Tower got season 1, I think it'd be a much closer gap to me. I just think,
again, like I was like, I don't want your argument for Tog to be, it's Lord of the Rings sized when anime onlys have only gotten like 1% of it.
Yep.
You know,
100%,
like
100%.
I don't feel like that's a fair comparison. Whereas like I have read all of what is currently translated to English in Zero, and in my opinion, feel that it does a very good job of, while not being Lord of the Rings sized, being massive enough that when I'm reading or observing the content, that my suspension of disbelief is completely nullified and I'm completely sucked in.
I agree.
Like I am very invested in the characters and the story and what's going on. Whereas in season 1, I was not as invested because it felt like it was a really big lake with about 4 inches of depth.
Yep.
And season 2 feels like we're in a kiddie pool, except it's 12 feet deep.
Yep. 100%.
Agreed.
And ReZero just needs to find its moment of being the big lake, but also like 20 or 30 feet deep.
100%.
And we're getting to that point, especially like with what's coming in season 2.
Yep.
Part 2. So it's like, I'm trying to like objectively look at both. But for me, like Dorohedoro, and I wish Dylan, did you see Dorohedoro?
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay. Do you feel that deserves to be on this list? Because in my opinion, I think people underrated that show so much.
See, I was gonna say I rate that number 1 and then Decadence number 2 because they have their worlds are way more fleshed out.
Fair.
In terms of fantasy.
And that's how I like. Again, like I wanted people, like I'm glad that you came on because like I feel like Mappa did such a good job with Dorohedoro, and not enough people watched it to like actively argue it. And I don't feel like I was not as sucked in as I probably could have been because I did not give it the respect it deserved. But I bet on rewatch I'm going to rate it much higher than I currently do. And like Ascendance of the Bookworm, that show is one of my favorite isekai. It's incredibly wholesome. It does a very good job. You become very invested in the characters and their growth. And watching Mine make paper and the shit she goes through to just write some goddamn books.
Yep. The struggle of all of it.
Like I said, I can't really argue against, like, and from what I've seen of Bookworm, it's fantastic. You know, like I didn't get to see Decadence or Dorohedoro yet. So like I'm placing it off the stuff I've seen. And I know Dorohedoro's fantastic. It's Mappa. It's very hard to like, and the art's something I want to see, you know? I just think with something that knocked my socks off enough in the first 3 episodes to literally take me on the journey that exists, right? Makes it very hard. And like, again, like, this is coming from me as being somebody who's literally like sat down and read all of Lord of the Rings, Narnia, like all of the classics, Dune, Ringworld, like all of these fantasy or sci-fi fantasy, like all of these that literally have sucked me into the point of absurdity. Tower's the only anime that's ever done that to me on a level of you are now like involved in the franchise as a whole. So
yeah, and I like to give that recognition to Tower. Like, again, if Tower didn't exist, this podcast doesn't exist. And it does such a good job of sucking people in, and I'm gonna beat that horse. This is another horse that we can beat till it's long dead, in the grave, dug back out, pulled back out, beat again, put back in the grave, buried, and then dug back out a couple weeks later. But
Tim, do you have something you want to tell us? Do you have like, are you into that? Like, do you just want like a shovel and I'll
social clip.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up. No, but like what I'm saying is
Tim simping for dead bodies.
That's why he liked the love funnel so much. There's the thing yesterday for me.
I did not love the love funnel. The love funnel hurt me on an emotional level, and I don't love it. Shut the fuck up. I wanted it to be a triangle.
Wasn't the one who was dead.
I wanted the love triangle and nothing more, and I got a funnel. But
sorry, Tim. I'm so sorry.
Tog does such a good job, and I'm glad that it's getting recognition for what it deserves. And I hope more people especially at our recommendation, will go out and read the webtoon and get invested because that story is so fucking good.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
if you're starting in season 1 of the webtoon, give the art a chance. I promise.
Yeah,
I promise you that on chapter 77, you're gonna go, thank God I fucking stayed. And then you're
And
gonna
even then, like in season 3 now, which is it's like it's 300 chapters in still, but it is full blown like comic book level. It's beautiful art. It's absolutely gorgeous. So
yeah.
just have to get there.
there will be panels in which you look at it and you go, oh, that's my new favorite panel. And then like literally 2 chapters later, oh, that's my new favorite panel. And that just, the moment you hit midway through season 2, that just starts happening. Like,
and it just keeps happening, and you're like, God damn it. Like, and then you go, wait, I can't wait to see this animated. Wow, I can't wait to see this animated.
I'm still
Holy
waiting
shit.
for the Anok versus Ran animated.
Oh, that's gonna be an amazing animation.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
gonna
like,
be
there's-
incredible.
There's gonna be so many amazing scenes.
I just want the workshop battle.
That's also
The
good.
workshop battle.
I mean, we just said Anok
The whole
versus
thing. Yep, the
Rancune.
whole thing.
But the whole workshop battle is fantastic.
Yeah.
All of the Hell Train. What else? How about
can't wait
the siege on the space station on floor 77 or floor 70, whatever it is, 72?
Something.
I'm gonna say one set of words, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to see the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it just gets so good so quickly. You get lost again. Like I said, to give you, I said it a million times before. I actually read 474 chapters in 3 days. Like, that's how lost I got into it. So like, the world is that good, and I really hope you get there with us. Now that we've spent an hour and change on who's winning what in the anime awards, Dylan, what do you want to talk about for anime?
Welcome to the podcast. We're happy to have you.
I guess when you first talk. Okay, so what is everyone watching? Like guilty pleasures, besides like the obvious ones, you know, Attack on Titan, you know,
JJK.
I'm going back to
What are you
watch
watching?
Irregular Magic High School season 2 because I finally got access to Funny, so I'm watching that. I'm actually watching So I'm a Spider, So What?
Same.
Are
And
you guys surprised
again,
that's the same studio that made Berserk? Are you actually surprised?
Yes.
no.
Is it the same studio that made Berserk?
The
Does
only
it
does
actually
not
look good?
surprise
I
me.
haven't started it yet.
Okay, so I'm going to give my 2 cents about
Yes.
So I'm a Spider. The first like 5 to 10 minutes are a lot of CG, and you can.
Yeah.
That's how I was not surprised that it's the same studio that made
Yep.
Berserk.
Yeah.
Is it has a lot of the same, like the background monsters feel a lot like the skeleton army in Berserk and in Overlord. So it's kind of vomit inducing how
Yeah, basically.
ugly the CGI is, but your
Oh,
main
ouch.
character, while CGI, still does not. There's moments where she's CGI, there's moments where she's 2D drawn, and it's like, okay, when they need her to be
super
CGI,
jarring. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
super jarring.
when she needs to be CGI, she is well blended and she fits in well with the backgrounds. When she is 2D drawn, she again fits well with what's going on. She's mostly CGI in scenes where it's like large groups or high velocity movement, and close-ups to her are usually 2D drawn, so it doesn't feel like, oh god, I'm looking at a shiny ball from the side.
Right.
So I'm
pretty solid.
enjoying it so far.
It's pretty
The
solid.
story is funny.
They're
It's pretty
getting-
good comedy.
They're getting to memes, so this will be
Yeah.
interesting. It's going to be
a
fun.
very funny watch.
I'm also watching The
Um,
Hidden Dungeon That Only I Can Enter, only because it reminded me of solo leveling for a minute, and then I got into it and was like, oh wait,
It's not.
this is harem ecchi. Okay, I see
Yeah.
where this is going.
It's not even good harem ecchi, to be
It's
honest.
not.
Oh, it's not okay. I heard ecchi and got excited, and now I'm being told
not
it's
good.
not good ecchi.
No.
No.
Dang it.
I've read the light novel. I knew it wasn't gonna be good harem ecchi, and I was like, all right, I'm over this.
Fair. You
I
could've told me.
didn't even give it a watch. I didn't know you were
need
gonna
to.
watch it.
You didn't need to.
I started up Log Horizon
Yeah,
because that started coming out again.
I'm on the third season. I think it's the third season. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the third season. Okay, this is the dumbest thing ever. So Funimation has exclusive rights for season 3 of Log Horizon. Funimation also does not have streaming rights for season 2 of Log Horizon.
It's really weird.
It's kind of hilarious. And for my friends that are Funimation only, especially that live in my house, I have had to give out my Crunchy. My Crunchy is now like on 20 different people's devices so that they can all watch Log Horizon all the way through.
There you go.
And to me, that's too fucking hilarious, you know?
It's yeah.
That's wild.
Okay. So I'm currently watching.
Go ahead.
All right, go ahead.
I'm watching Mushoku Tensei, which I'm enjoying. I'm watching Horimiya.
Yep.
And honestly, my favorite show of this season so far that is not a returner or something that's continuing is Supposed Kid from the last Dungeon Boonies moved to another town.
Yes.
For me, it's giving me it's hard to describe. It kind of feels like One Punch Man because Lloyd is so busted by comparison, but at the same time it's like a more turned down, more comedic and just like generally cute and cuddly version of it. And I love that.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me that Lloyd thinks he is so incredibly weak and he's just over here like flicking giant monsters like he's over here like Saitama punching things like normal punch and it just goes flying. They literally do the Team Rocket blasting off, like watching it go into the sky. You hear the ding as the sparkle flashes. And to me, like that's a good nostalgic bit from my childhood, but also just well placed. So I'm really enjoying that.
I love any show that happens after I screamed about it being a stupid light novel title.
I'm also watching bottom tier character Tomazaki, and honestly, Nate, you're gonna want to watch it. It's fucking amazing.
Is it on Crunchy or Funny?
It's on Funny, and it's really good. Like I was so excited when I opened it up and realized that there were 2 episodes because I watched the first one and was like, if I had to wait another week for this, I probably would have pulled my own goddamn eyes out.
I'm glad there's a show about people just like me.
And
wild.
so
bottom
tier character Tomazaki is.
How did we forget
Chefs.
Slime Sakai season 2?
I mean, I'm obviously watching Slime Sky season 2. It's back. Like, why would I not watch Slime Sakai?
All right, I just want to point out, Slime Sakai season 2, episode 1 introduces cat girls. They're already winning.
Oh, it gets even better. I've read all.
There's more cat girls.
There is more.
There are more cat girls.
I
have also read quite a few of the light novels.
You haven't seen the best one yet.
Oh, I can tell you right now that the one that I've seen is not the best one, even though she's the only one that we've seen.
Yeah, so
like
I've read all 18, and it gets crazy. This show gets crazy in its world building and the nation building, and then Rimuru and all his allies. It's so crazy.
I love it. Slime Sakai was
100.
Slime Sakai was the show that, like, the season it came out, I saw it advertised everywhere, and I was like, that is the dumbest fucking show I have ever heard of. I'm gonna watch one episode of it. And you just get this, like, the moment I hit the scene of his employee, like, saluting his computer while it's turned on in a bathtub, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like this show.
This is a show of culture.
Okay, you know what the best part is I did not give Slime Sakai the respect it deserved when it came out. And the reason I say that is the first 4 episodes were so fucking slow.
Oh, yeah,
like I could not get through the first episode the first time I watched it. I was like, this is like, I loved the bits. I loved the Tsundere dragon. I loved the,
oh my god,
Tsundere yes, Tsundere dragon tops. His busted overpowered abilities, hilarious. But like for me, the pacing was just such a slog. And once we got through that and we were like to the point where he was like recruiting the goblins and naming them and things started to move forward, I was like, okay, I'm in. Oh god, it's going faster.
Ogres,
here we go.
Then it just jumped off after the ogres part. After you recruited that.
I was like, okay, I'm on this train and it's never fucking stopping.
And it's just gonna keep going up.
Yeah, and then
How about it? I enjoy it.
yeah, it's just a happy time. I
also
liked
wanna
that-
Tell people this is gonna be the darkest moment in the entire slime this season. It gets very dark. And
It
then
does.
really
It gets
good.
really, really dark. I do remember that from the light novel. But I'm excited. I love
Should I
it.
be concerned, like, how dark it gets, or no?
It's not. We're
Like,
not
should I
gonna
turn on a
read their
light
character.
or?
No. Just a little bit. Just like just a little bit.
You know, like those Philips Hue bulbs, take them from like 50%, to like 65. Like
There you go.
that's like all you need on their brightness is like just that little, just like that 15% boost. It's just enough to balance it out. Like it's going to be extremely dark compared to the rest of the show
Okay.
Yeah.
we've seen thus far, but nothing compared to like anything else that
Like
we've seen.
ReZero
So
or anything else. Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
It's not getting there.
yeah, it's never going to get to the point of like watching someone get brutally murdered in ReZero or like
I'm glad we're
Jujutsu
never. I'm
Kaisen
glad we're never getting to rabbits.
or like or Attack on Titan's death scenes. Like
Fucking
it's never that.
rabbits. If you ever need a new phobia,
The rabbit.
just watch that scene. Like that'll do it. Yeah,
I
turn on a
already,
night
I
light.
already have phobias of fucking insects. Don't do this to me. I don't need to be
Don't
afraid
turn-
of tiny little fluffy bunnies.
Don't make me afraid of Usada Pecora. I'm already kind of afraid of her. Like, don't make it worse.
It could be worse.
But
I'm
it could be
excited.
better.
I want to see Milim come back. I want to see.
Oh, she will.
Karazhan.
Who?
Demon Lord. Tiger.
Oh,
Boy. Yeah.
he'll be back. He'll be back sooner than you
Milim is
expect.
one of like she was best girl on Best Girl Bot for like a month straight. Remember Best Girl Bot?
Oh,
I
no.
do in fact remember Best Girl Bot.
So Death back on Mixer. I needed to have a separate account
Yeah.
to be a bot for me, and so everybody was like, insert username bot, and mine was Best Girl Bot.
Yep.
And every it was supposed to be every week. I ended up doing it just whenever I felt like it. I changed the profile pic and changed the command. The command was "Who's that Pokemon?" And then the picture would just be whoever I thought was best girl at the time. So we had like Rin from Fate Stay Night. She was a good one. We had Rem from ReZero.
That's a game.
Nezuko, obviously, because Nezuko. And then we had Milim for a long time because she was just. Oh, dude, listen. I don't have trash taste in waifus. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But you're a Xenon stan, so like,
The fuck is that supposed to mean? Are you telling me Xenon's not best girl from Sword Art? It's almost like she's the only female character that has a complete story arc and blue hair.
I was gonna make a joke.
To be honest, he's not wrong.
No, I know. The problem is all of the waifu material out of SAO is so fucking bad that it's like the fact that
Calling
Xenon
Xenon
is.
bad waifu material?
Can you shut the fuck up and let me finish that statement? That like the fact that Xenon is best girl does not surprise me because the rest of them are so trash that they're not even acceptable waifus.
Second tier
She
is like
is-
Liz, and she's like down here compared to Xenon like up here.
But that's what I'm saying is like Xenon in most like other shows would be like maybe a B tier waifu at best, but in SAO is like the only SS tier waifu,
Yeah, it's the only.
and everyone else is like A- at best. At best.
Nate's insulted.
I am insulted. I cannot believe that you would say this.
It's just true, to be honest. There's
I'm just
not
gonna vote for 0-2 and leave it at that.
Get the fuck
Zero
out of
two.
here. 02 is a bad waifu.
02 is only a good waifu until episode like 15. And
Yeah,
then
I
after
can't
that,
even
after that, she's just a giant robot and it's not worth.
But hey,
Which-
at least he finally gets to be Insider. Am I right?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh no. Oh no.
Nate, Dylan,
Nate,
where
no.
can they
I'm
find you on the
getting
internet? Dylan, where can
I'm
they
getting
find you on the
fucking
internet?
Wait, no, Paul, I swear
No,
to God.
nope. After that one, we're skipping the light novel title. Like after.
No,
nope.
you don't get to skip the light novel title.
Okay, go on.
That-
Right now, we have to.
That's not how this works,
I know.
Paul.
I know.
This is a democracy.
I need the light novel title. I was just gonna have Tim read it afterwards, and and have you insert it in post.
That's disrespectful. That's almost as disrespectful as we've been to Tim this entire episode.
Can you just read the fucking light novel title so we can end this episode, please?
This week's light novel title brought to you by my notepad document that I have. Middle-aged businessman, arise in another world.
That's it.
Yeah, this is the story about Onigawara Shozo, who spends his days working this tiresome job at an IT company. But his life changes when, on a rainy night, he meets a goddess named Sylvia. And that's not an exaggeration, she's an actual goddess. Later that night, she stays at his apartment. And guess what happens? Well, 13 years later, they're married and they have 2 kids, but then due to some unfortunate circumstances, his house and everyone in it gets transported into another world full of magic and monsters. So, finding out they can't go back for another year, Shozo decides he must support his family the only way he knows how, by joining the sales department of a local guild.
Okay, you know what?
You know, it got better.
Yeah,
The description saves this one.
The title, disappointment. The description makes me want to read it.
Yep, pretty much. That's all I gotta say. Like, the title was like a
That was not the best title I have in here.
All right, Dylan, where do they find you?
I'm mostly on Twitter. I just retweet great artwork and then memes. It's at my Twitter's at Dylan. So you can just follow me there. That's all. If you want great pictures and memes, that's what I do, and that's it.
Tim,
all right, Nate, where do they find you?
Nate, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Confamus, where I post weird things on Twitter. I ignore my Instagram, and I stream sometimes on Twitch.
Paul, where do they find you?
Guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at I_love_Mondays, MUNDAYS, and then on Twitch at twitch.tv/ILoveMondays or twitch.tv/RareDrop, doing things every Tuesday and Friday on the RareDrop channel. We do Reckoning Hour D&D on Tuesdays, and then catch me and the Studio Blank Boys here at twitch.tv/RareDrop every single week, doing Vinland Saga Watch Party, or the next show that we decide after next week.
You mean
We've
Wodakai?
decided the next show.
Oh,
Wodakai. Love is hard for otaku.
I was gonna get them to
That's a
come
good one.
and find out, but you know that works too.
And
And then Tim,
that might entice people more.
Tim, where can I
And you
find you?
guys can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Syndaxatrix, SYNDAXATRIX, and running the Studio Blank account and almost not fucking it up most of the time at Studio Blank Pod. And you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Studio Blank. Please support us on Patreon. It's going to help pay for our rent and our studio time. As well as potentially getting us some sick Studio Blank merch designed. And fun announcement, I'm gonna be a VTuber. Ooh woo.
Ignore the
yes,
announcement. Just go find him on Twitter so you can find out when he actually is a VTuber. Thanks.
But
okay, but it's a cool announcement. It's
is.
in the works now.
And well then, Dylan, thank you so much for joining us this episode. We got a little wild, went a little long, but we appreciate having you here.
Thanks for joining. And guys, you can catch it next week on Sundays at 8 or 8:30, depending on the day. Love you.
Just watch out on Twitter.
We're trying to make a schedule.
Woo! Bye.
Woo woo. Bye.
Bye. Done recording.
Yep.
That ending though.
Oh my god. Wait, is it stop or pause?
Yeah, just hit stop.
It's stop.
It's
Yeah, and then export it as a 32-bit float wave.
Wait,
Yes.
didn't you say you preferred the project, or do you want me to do that?
No.
If you could export it, that would be great.
You need
So
the
export it,
audio.
what was it?
Yeah, because
Wait.
Yeah.
because otherwise you have to grab the project file and all of the data files and upload both of those.
Mhm.
And if you don't, it gets fucked up and it's annoying.
Okay. And then what's the encoding again?
Should be 32-bit float.
Oh, 32-bit float.
Wave.
Wave. Yep.
Yeah, and wave, yeah.
And then the Google Drive link to put it in there is just in guest primer. It should be the first link.
And I'm gonna make a folder real quick. quick if we haven't already.
Yeah, I hadn't gotten to that point yet.
I got
I
it.
was
That
getting
was
there.
an episode. Cherry, thanks
That
for
was-
hanging out. We love you. And
That was too funny.
anything for our chat, Tim, before we go?
I'm going to post some fun ReZero season 2 part 1 stuff that we have just had in the bank for a while. Probably later this week. I just need to get through doing all of my homework that I have coming up this week. I have 3 fucking assignments for one class, and I still have an assignment that I need to do that's due. It was supposed to be due tomorrow, but it's now due Tuesday, so maybe tomorrow after I work on some of that stuff, I'll get that edited and ready to go.
Yeah. This week is I'm not doing a lot of things this week, and you can't blame me for it. So
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That is fair.
Pray for Nate as he
Alrighty.
gets surgery.
Best of luck.
Bye,
yeah,
guys.
So don't worry. There's no way anything bad will happen.
No way.
Don't
In
say
the
that.
password.